Let's do this.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to COVID Devotion with Beez. I'm your host, Beez. And since I've got work this morning, I've got to head out to the school. So I'm doing a pre-recorded message for the people who are on Facebook Live, Facebook Live, YouTube, and Twitch Live. Instagram, you guys are going to have this live. No. YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. This is a pre-recorded message, so you'll get this at 9 o'clock. Instagram, I got to do this live. Anyway, it's simply because I got to head out to the school as soon as possible. And so, anyway, hope everyone had a great weekend. Welcome to COVID Devotion with Beez. I'm your host, Beez. Sorry, this has all been a jumble, but nonetheless, here we are this morning on a beautiful Monday morning. Great day, great sunrise this morning. Woke up at 5. Just to make sure that Luna was adjusting okay. And today's devotion has something to do with Luna. The topic of today's devotion is the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. I'm going to just quickly adjust that. I'm going to write that again. Okay, the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. And the reason why I'm doing I'm saying the whole King James version of it is simply because when I heard this, even when I was a kid, I heard this so many times: the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. The same way that I heard about Noah and the flood, Moses and the Exodus, Jesus during Christmas, the creation story. I heard this phrase, the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. But it wasn't until later on, I'm talking about, in my 20s, when I started journeying and reconnecting with God, that I actually discovered that it was a Bible passage, one, and what it actually meant. So I'm going to read this passage and I just paint a bit of context around it, and then kind of see and probably kind of share a point that I had in regards to maybe how this makes sense, how this made sense to me, and how it could potentially make sense in your life. Okay, so we're going to check this out. We're going to go to Job. So the passage is found in Job chapter 1, verse 21. And then I'm not going to add anything to the Bible. I'm going to read the second, the verse following that as well. So this is Job chapter 1, verse 21 to 22. And this is what it says. I'll read 20 as well. At this, Job got up and tore his robe and shaved his head. Then he fell to the ground in worship, and said, "Naked I am from my mother's womb, and naked I will depart. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. May the name of the Lord be praised." And then verse 22 says, "In all of this, Job did not sin by charging God with wrongdoing." Now, if you don't know the story of Job, it's quite an amazing story. You know how David is known to be a man after God's own heart. John, I believe, is the disciple that Jesus loved. Sometimes it's these titles that either have been given by God, what's it called? Jacob turns into Israel. He doesn't turn; he just gets a name change. And then others, they're given names, or they call themselves these titles, right? In the book of Job, you find out that God gives him the title of a man of integrity. And painting a bit of a story around Job is that during a particular time in Job's life, Satan goes up to God and challenges him and says to God, the only reason why Job is loyal and obedient to you and sees you as your master is because of the prosperity message. Pretty much, it's the only reason why Job is loyal and claims you or sees you as the master and the God and his God is because you give him what he wants and you've blessed him with so many things. And then Satan further on to say this. He goes, I'm pretty sure if you took that all away, he wouldn't want to praise you. He wouldn't want to do that, and he'll choose not to, and he would actually reject you. And then God says to him, Job is a man of integrity. Even if he goes, if everything was taken away from him, he would still be loyal to me. He would still be my servant. He would still be my like mine. And so Satan puts him to the test, and he says, "Prove it." And then God and Satan make an agreement in chapter 1, and it basically says, God says, you can do whatever with him, except kill him. You can do everything you want, kill him, except kill him. And God and Job will still remain faithful to me. Job will still be a man of integrity towards me. And so this passage, like in the space of a chapter, I don't know how long this chapter is. No, I don't know the time frame between that. But Satan takes everything away from Job. He takes his livestock, he takes his reputation, he takes his household, he takes his family. He strips everything away from him, and basically showcases, I guess, what Satan had the power to do, and that was to strip everything that Job thought of this world was important to him. And yet in this passage, I'm going to read it again. At this, Job got up, like when he hears the final thing, where it's like, while he was still speaking, yet another messenger came and said, your sons and your daughters were feasting and drinking wine at the older brother's house, when suddenly a mighty wind swept in from the desert and struck the four corners of the house. It collapsed on them, and they are dead. And I am the only one who escaped to tell you. At this, so Job loses his kids. And at this, Job got up and tore his robe and shaved his head. Then he fell to the ground in worship and said, naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I will depart. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. May the name of the Lord be praised. In all of this, Job did not sin by charging God with wrongdoing. He wasn't witness to the argument, or he wasn't witness to the discussion or the conversation that Satan had with God, but he trusted in God. And I think that that's amazing. I think that if you're trusting in God, that irrespective of the circumstance that your life is in, that's integrity. That's real faith. And ultimately for him to be willing to worship God in that, knowing and having a faith to know that God, it wasn't God's fault, that it wasn't God's doing. This happened because of Satan, and this was stripped, and yet he still praised God, because ultimately the idea of, no turning back, Christ is enough for me, that was Job. And God celebrated the fact that Job was a man of integrity. Now, the idea of, the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away, like I was really struggling with that. And I thought to myself, well, why would the Lord take something away from me? Because here Job is admitting, he's saying, naked I came from the mother's womb, and naked I will depart. The Lord has given, and the Lord has taken away. In other words, the Lord has allowed for something to be taken away from me, but I will still remain faithful to God. I can hear Luna crying. This is where Luna comes into the picture, right? Over the last over the last week, since me and Karen have brought her into the family and brought her into the house, she's been adjusting to the new environment, and she's trying to find safe spaces around this pretty big house. And so it started outside, then she found one in the kitchen, then she found one underneath the staircase inside the house. And a lot of these places were okay, but eventually she'd find places scattered over the house. Then I think she was slowly starting to get comfortable with us. And the main place that we stay is in this room. It's our living room. We watch TV, we chill out. We host friends and family here. This is the main place. And I think more and more Luna wanted to be accustomed to that and kind of be part of the fun. She's a Dioge, so she's obviously going to be part of the party. And she wants to be part of the party now because she's whinging and whining outside. So on one particular day, she came in, and I'm just going to show you this. There's a table in that corner. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, you can both see it. Everyone can see it. There's a table in that corner, and I had to block it off. The reason why, well, currently now I'm having to block that section off. The reason why is because that was the place where Luna found as a safe space in this living room. She walked in, or she trotted in, because she's a bit of a chonks. She trotted in, and she kind of did a quick lap while we weren't in the room. I think we were in the kitchen at the time, and then we went straight in. She went straight in, and she was there. I think it kind of blocked her from the sun. It was a nice, small, quiet, kind of shady place where, there wasn't light, and it didn't seem to be exposed to the room. So it was like a little den in there. The problem was that's where all our internet stuff is, and that's where our router, that's where all the wiring for our TV, the PlayStation, everything comes together. And I'm not saying, she's going to ruin all of it. No, I'm saying I'm not an electrician, and I don't know how electricity, like, and that kind of stuff works. And I don't want her to be at risk. But it seemed that she found that place as the only comfortable place in this room. And so in this time of adjustment, she didn't want to leave that room. And it was either this thing is, it was like she gave me an ultimatum. She goes, if you're gonna get to know me and you want me to be here, that's the place I'm gonna be, and that's the place I'm gonna be comfortable. So deal with it. And I was thinking, well, I want her to know me, and I want her to get to know me. So I guess in the place where she feels safe and comfortable, I'll let her be. But I was still worried for her. I was still kind of. So what I did one time, what I did was, I'm like, well, I want to make her feel safe. So I let her be, but I also want to, protect her from the electricity or getting shocked or zapped or something. So what I did was, during a time where I knew she had food or she needed to eat, I went outside, I put her bowl outside, and I waited till she got out. And then I got her mattress, or like one of her safety seats, the comfort beanbag, and I placed it there. I placed it there in that corner, over the like blocking all the wiring and stuff like that. And so when she came back, she immediately jumped into that corner, but she jumped onto the beanbag. So I was okay that she was there. And for that time being of adjustment and getting to know me and getting to know Karen and getting to know our room and the house and where we hang out, I let her be. But I knew that wouldn't be a safe spot for her to eventually would have to change that up. And so for the entire weekend, she was there. And I think the more and more, she was exposed to that area, the more and more, people came, and me and Karen were chilling and talking and stuff like that. She became okay with it. Yesterday, she finally, and this was I would say, praise the Lord, she finally opened up to me and connected with me outside on the balcony. And I got to pat her for the first time. But over this weekend, she didn't go back in her crate, and she didn't sleep in her crate. Pardon me. And she slept there. And for me, I'm like, no. She needs a routine, and she needs to know where her crate is, and she needs this kind of structure in her life. So I'm going to have to move her eventually. So late last night, what me and Karen did was, we found out, we organized a way for her to relocate, because she felt comfortable with me. She relocated to this space here. And while she was there, we took the cushion, or we took that mattress, and put it back next to her crate and blocked that off. And it wasn't because I wanted to take away her fun. It wasn't because I wanted to take away her comfort. It was because I was worried that something might happen there. And I would rather not have her not there to avoid risk of harm than for her to just be there. And so when we relocated, we've now got a mat there, just in the corner here next to the sunlight. It's a beautiful thing. And then also her crate and stuff like that in the other room. And when that happened, it kind of dawned on me as to the whole idea of the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. That it's not about God. When it comes to God and his love and him being unchanging, God will never change his mind. Like God is not one of those ones that is like, oh, I'm going to give you this, but if you don't want to worship me, I'm going to hold a grudge and get angry at you and do this. I'm going to take it away from you. There is a difference between us living in sin and God withholding the blessing from us. And that'll be a time for probably tomorrow's devotion. But today I want to talk about the reason why God might take something away from us, or might put us in a space of discomfort, is either, what I realized yesterday, is pretty much for our own good. The reason why I took that cushion away and took that space away from Luna yesterday wasn't because I wanted to take her comfort or safety or fun. It was great that she used that in this environment was used so we could develop a better relationship and a better connection and a trust in Luna. But eventually I know that the risk of something happening over there in that back corner, because I don't know about electronics and power surges and all the rest of it, I was like, no, let's avoid that area completely. So I took her bed and that thing away from that area and moved it on. And what I realized is God, in his protection, is his love, and he's wanting to nurture and provide for us. There will be times he'll need to take stuff away from us. There will be times where he's like, no, in this season, I need to take this away from you because you've become stagnant. You've become complacent. You are no longer asking for me for provision. You're no longer asking me or you're no longer relying on me, but it looks like now you're becoming too comfortable and you're relying on self. And in this self, you're leading yourself down a path of risk and harm and danger. So I need you. So what he might do is take that comfort away from me, so I can understand that in my own strength that I can't do anything, but I need to be constantly relying on him. And in that, develop my trust and faith and dependency on him. So when so things like so the passage, like, what the enemy has meant for evil, God is working out for my good, that makes sense. That even though there are some things in my life that are broken, that are missing, that are unfulfilled, that are unsatisfied in my life, maybe because of Satan, God is still working that out. And God is not purposely wanting me to be in a place of discomfort because he's holding grudges, or because he's this puppet master. He's just wanting to make and watch me suffer. God is a God of love, and God is a God that his foundation is based on love. So if he's going to take something away from me, I need to trust and have faith that the reason why is for my good, is for my safety and for my benefit. That's what I was reminded of. And so, and what helps me understand that is knowing God more, is not blaming him, but actually worshiping him, is praising him and reaching out to him and asking him for his wisdom and his and knowledge from him, so I can know and I can understand. Because in this season, Job still didn't understand the conversation that Satan had with God, but he just trusted nonetheless. So I need to rely on God more, so I can trust in him more. So though things might be stripped from me, it's not that I blame God, but I go to God. And I would encourage you to do the same. If you're going through a season of loss, whether it be employment, whether it be in a relationship, whether it be something tangible, instead of blaming God, I would encourage you to seek God, because potentially it wasn't God's fault. Because as that final passage says, is in all of this, Job did not sin by charging God with the wrongdoing. And I encourage you that you search your heart and you seek out God, so potentially you can understand that if something's missing from your life, it wasn't because God wanted to be the puppet master of torment. But I pray that you seek him out and you search him, so he can reveal to you that it wasn't him who was the cause of the wrongdoing. I'm going to wrap it up there, and I'm going to close in a word of prayer. But I just want to say thank you so much for joining me this morning for COVID Devotion with Beez. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for giving, and thank you so much for taking away. Because in all of this, it's for our benefit. In all of this, it strengthens a reliance on you. In all of this, it strengthens our trust and our faith in you. And Lord, may we be people of integrity. May we be people like Job, who in the midst of things of the world that are being stripped away, things that we can't explain, the attacks of Satan, and the things that Satan is doing to strip us and pull us away from you, Lord, may we all always seek you out, rely on you, and depend on you, so we can understand that it's not you who is causing us this harm, that it's not you who's responsible for the wrongdoing or the sadness and the hurt that's we're experiencing. But Lord, may we depend on you so you can heal us, you can reconcile yourself with us, and you can, just mend us. Because hope is found in you, love is found in you, because you are the God of love and compassion and mercy and grace and provision and refuge. So, Lord, I pray in our emptiness, in our absence, or the things that we find lacking, Lord, I pray that we can rely on you, trust in you, and build our faith in you, so you can be that person, or you can be that God of provision in all things. I pray that you give us a great day. I ask this all in your loving name. Amen. Thank you so much once again for joining me live on Instagram. No one, no one's there, so I guess you're watching this later on if you want to. Thank you so much once again for joining me on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Not live, pre-recorded, but see you at 9 o'clock. Also, for the people on, and this is what I encourage you to do. If you're on any of those three, like, follow, subscribe. But for the people on Twitch, if it costs to subscribe, don't. Just follow. You don't even have to like, just follow. Just see, or turn on the notifications so you can be reminded of when these happen again. I will see you tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, hopefully for a live message. If not, I'll do another pre-recorded one. But in the meantime, stay safe, stay blessed. Peace out. Much love. Have a great day.